Oh yeah. I don't quite wake up until I hear that funk right there.
Got to get your body moving.
Yeah,
body
I'm up.
moving.
Get up.
Hey.
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Hey. Monday already, man. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Check 1 2 1 2. Is this camera working?
Is this thing on?
Hey, there we go. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Good morning, Leia Keister. What's happening? Good morning, good morning, good morning, she said. Judy Printer gives us a morning, family. Thanks for joining us. I see you guys. One's on YouTube, one's on Facebook, so I guess they're both working this morning.
Okay. Testing.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio. Check it out. Thanks for the 6:30 crew who chimes in the morning. Really appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed the mix. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, chat chimers, ghost listeners, everybody coming on in. Pops is in. He says, good morning, First Sky, sending mad love to you all from Las Vegas.
Hey.
What's up, man? How's the weather out there? Need to know what's going on, and out there. It's getting cold out here. So,
man,
yeah. Let me know what's the weather like. What's going on?
Yeah, I still got
some desert heat.
I still get those weather notifications. I just looked down, 15 right now in Omaha.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, bundle up, y'all. Bundle up. If you got to get out in that mess, drive safely.
Please do. Alice B60 says, good morning, gentlemen. All love from Texas. Oh, appreciate you chiming in from Texas. That's what's up.
Okay.
How's everybody from these warm states while we're over here at 16 degrees?
Man, it's not too bad out here. It's about 40s, 50s.
That would be nice. That would really be nice. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm inside with the heat on, so
there you go. What you gotta
do. That's what you gotta do.
Alice B60 is a name I haven't seen before. So welcome all first and last time listeners. We appreciate y'all here on this Monday.
Yeah, that's YouTube. Everybody, sometimes people have different names on YouTube than they got on Facebook. So might be somebody we know, but we'll see. Vicky Young says, good morning, good people with some sunshine. Appreciate you, Vicky. Good morning to you. Pop says, I never look outside, so I don't know, but I'm sure it's not 16 degrees. It better not be 16 degrees in Vegas. I don't know what that would mean for the earth if that was the case.
Global warming is real. That's what that means.
Global freezing sounds like.
Yeah, that part. But yeah, you gotta get out here, bundle up. I wonder. I mean, we're 2 years from the pandemic. Well, kind of from the start of the pandemic, the height of it. If you people, are you still working remotely? A lot of people still working remotely. Is that a thing?
Good question. I've seen. It seems like that is the case. There's only a few companies that are trying to go back to all inside. The office.
I think I saw Mutual. I think is a Mutual one of them trying to for it was one of these like Mutual or Union Pacific. One of the companies trying to force people back into the office.
Yeah, there's a few of them, but people ain't having it, man. They're like, nah. We need our jobs to be at least semi-remotely.
Oh yeah, man! I sent you that. I sent you that AI video. Man, this AI is getting out of control. We are going to have to talk about it at some point throughout the season, as far as the use of AI and how far it's gone.
Hey, Mark Manor is up this morning on YouTube. He says, normally I will walk or ride in 16 degrees, and I tried this morning, but there is a bone chill this morning, and I'm waiting until this afternoon. Good morning.
Okay.
If it's too cold for Mark Manor to take a walk, you know it's cold outside, for real.
Right. That's why, Brother Mark, I know you had bounds.
Ariel's 402, good morning, says Osman 161 miles this morning. Hey man, be careful out there. I heard that there's foggy conditions that you can barely see, and that the fog's gonna freeze, which I never heard before. I was like, did he just say the fog is gonna freeze?
wait.
Okay, was that a bad broadcast? So I was like, is that a thing from Omaha I never heard of? The fog freezing?
You said the fog was gonna freeze?
That's what the cat on the radio said. Of course, it was KIOS, so I mean, they ain't exactly they're not exactly meteorologists over there, but
okay.
Still, that's what he said. It made me pause. Like, did he just say the fog was gonna freeze? Alice B60 says, I'm usually on FB. Cold here too. It's cold in Texas, huh? Okay.
Man. Are you in North Texas? What part of Texas?
Yeah, man.
How about
so anyway, anybody ever heard that? Fog freezing?
No, you kind of, is it like, does it set like dew and then freeze, or does it freeze in the air?
He didn't elaborate. He just said it was foggy and the fog was gonna freeze.
Yo, okay, Brother Mark Manor is I guess doubling down and confirming that this is a legit phenomenon.
So what okay.
I gotta go to the Google. I gotta
get the Google all that. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning from Facebook. Good morning to you as well. How are you doing this morning? I hope you're staying warm. We're sitting here talking about frozen frog because I've never heard that before. Frozen fog. It's foggy outside and the fog is gonna freeze. Yeah, I know I need to go and get on back to the West Coast. This is I don't know.
I guess this is what freezing fog looks like, which I've actually seen this winter. I don't know if you saw the coverage of there was a storm in New York. Whole shore was
whoa. If stuff start, hey bro, I'm about to pack my bag right now. If stuff starts looking like that out here, I'm out. That's crazy. Freezing fog. No.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught in that, y'all. So yeah. If you don't work remotely, just take the day off. Man.
Alice B60 says Central Texas clean outside Fort Hood.
Okay, clean.
That's what's up. Wanda Lewis says the West Coast has been flooding. Yeah, but that's true. They've been flooding. A bunch of people passed away too. Like a bunch of people died.
Man,
it was flooding. Like I was calling people out in Napa. I was calling people everywhere. Like y'all all right? Northern California was like underwater.
Man, we don't really have the story pulled, but somebody just mentioned the West, and it just kind of made me think. I don't know if you saw the CNN coverage yesterday, but I do just want to, we don't have to spend much time talking about it. But condolences, love, light, man. Prayers goes out to all the family. The community rocked by more gun violence, which we're going to definitely have to talk about eventually on the show, especially with Pillin in office now. That's one of his pledges, if I'm not mistaken. As far as gun control and more access to guns and things like that, but yet another mass shooting out in the West. So definitely, it just it was on my heart to say that, man. Just prayers, and prayers go out.
Always something, man. Can't turn on nothing without seeing another mass shooting somewhere.
Man, I was trying to find a game. I was trying to watch the football game, like what's going on with the Niners, man, and foolishness. So
foolishness.
Yeah, man.
Mark Banner is saying it turns into ice crystals. We talking about this fog, man.
It's frozen fog.
This is what they say is happening this morning. So this is what's going on this morning. Pop says that even looks scary. That's what I'm saying. Alice B60 said that's too cold. Man. Yeah, stuff starts looking like that around here. I don't know. Ty Williams gives us a good morning with some sunshine, and we need it.
It's cold. Looking like that.
Cold enough to freeze fog.
Yeah, that's a new one. You kind of threw me for a loop. You threw me for a loop for that one.
Did. You had to look that one up. So you never heard that in Omaha. Growing up in Omaha, you never heard that.
Nah, man. Nah.
Isn't fog like? You know what? We talking too much about this.
Yeah. You're about to go down the deep end, bro. Fog is water. Fog is water.
Those pictures look like death to me. So
I mean, we get into it. That's what winter is. You know, the nature is dying, so it can regenerate and spring forth a new life for a new year.
Y'all think it's beautiful. I'll never understand. I don't see nothing but death every time I see that kind of
man, you know, there's certain beauty in death, man.
We got special guests on the show today, coming on in. That's right. We from Flatwater Free Press, a new writer from Flatwater Free Press, as a matter of fact, which I think is pretty cool that they're expanding. The team is expanding over there big time. They definitely are doing the thing. But Sara Gentzler,
yep,
am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Gentzler is coming through, and she just wrote an article that's related to a lot of the things that we have been talking about here. What's going on with the brother Senator Justin Wayne and the Sankofa situation? We kind of find ourselves in the middle here of a little situation. We got to see what's going on with it. So she wrote an article, and that is probably one of the reasons why the brothers have come out and started talking a little bit more about the pressure that's on them. They're not the ones making these decisions on this money, and y'all need to get off their back. So, but at the same time, brother Justin Wayne came on the other day and said that he was that you know how he was involved with Sankofa, how he wasn't. And so I find that interesting. I read the article after he came on and was like, oh, okay, got it. So now I understand a little bit. So we'll be talking about that a little bit when she comes on, special guest.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few good articles that's been coming out. Thank you so much for joining Friends of First Sky Omaha and putting such good stuff in there. Even some positive things that we want to talk about today too. So lots of stuff coming up. Very excited about today's show. It's a Monday. I don't know how you guys are feeling. Look like we got William King, Grand Rising Gentleman.
Hey, I was gonna mention that. Yeah, bossing with us. Definitely thank you for tuning in. Kind of speaking of brother Wayne, yeah, I see you had the Senators on right kind of after us and on your afternoon broadcast, which definitely congratulations on that. But yeah, man, if you're willing to, I would definitely love to hear some of your personal takeaways, brother King, from your conversation with the Senators, because you know we all in this together, bro. We got some work to do. So yeah, definitely love to hear your thoughts.
Give you a call a little later on this afternoon, bro. I got your message. Let's definitely connect. Pops in the chat said James Brown told us about cold sweat, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, y'all definitely bundle up, get the beast of the field, maybe put them in the house somewhere.
Yep. Ariels 402 is giving us an update. 170 subscribers. Please hit the like button.
Okay.
Over on YouTube. Appreciate that. Yeah, please hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube as well. We'll definitely acknowledge when we reach that 200 mark this time. We missed the 100 anniversary or whatever the party, so we'll do the 200. Yeah, we'll do the 200 users for sure. And I appreciate you, brother Mayor Sanchez, for keeping track of those things. Also, I was thinking, man, there was something. I had something good too. I was going to tell you about. I'll think of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll think of it later.
Okay.
In the meantime, tell the people what we got going on today.
Man, well, of course, as you mentioned, we will be continuing our conversation and kind of following the money, what's going on with LB 1024 and what's the next steps, and just kind of more of the conversation about again the economic recovery bill and the money that's coming to North Omaha, but also in the midst of all of that, housing, a big part of that conversation, of course, still looking at what's going on with the towers situation. Again, big shout out to all the chat chimers, all the viewers, all the First Sky fam, the co-hosts, as we like to call them, out there doing the work, man. Again, we had some volunteers, I believe, that went out over the weekend. So we're definitely looking forward to possibly getting a update on that. If you are one of those volunteers, we'd definitely love to hear from you, or if anyone just has any more information on the tower situation. Again, we have several members of our community facing possible eviction for some things that might not have been in their control. So again, we've seen what happened with the Legacy Crossing situation, and as a community organization, we want to make sure that when we can, if we can, we will do what we can to look out for each other in the community. So again, big shout out to everyone who's kind of pitching in with that. Definitely looking forward to an update with that. Also, though, this is a big conversation that we have to have. What's going on with the police? It seems like there's some things continuing to happen. If you remember, during the sheriff's race, we had a very, very interesting conversation with candidate Brother Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
was Greg Gonzalez.
Greg Gonzalez.
Yeah, Brother Greg Gonzalez. And of course, he was running for sheriff, and then his wife just so happened at the same time was wrapped up in some controversy with her reporting and some treatment that she received during her time as an officer. And now looks like there's some back and forth going on between the Gonzalez family and the Omaha police, and now there's an investigation going on. There's some talk. So again, what's going on? We'll talk about that throughout the show, and definitely bring that back around to the question that I asked Brother Wayne on Friday in regards to a citizen review board, one of the many bills that will be discussed in upcoming sessions. So we'll definitely be talking about that as well. Of course, if there's some things on your hearts, your minds that we're not discussing, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. As always, we'll also be getting into some art things. Of course, there's a couple of artists we do, really enjoy and want the people to be informed about some of the arts and just some of the cultural things going on in the community. And Playhouse, they're stepping up, man. Fences is coming to Playhouse. If you don't know about Fences, legendary play. Of course, it was eventually turned into a great film starring my man Denzel, and also I forget her name. I have to look up her name to give her flowers, because they killed that movie. Also a great book too. So now this will be coming to life at an Omaha stage, and there's some heads a part of it. So we're going to talk about it, give them their flowers as well. And of course, we're here for the next 2 hours. So who knows what we'll get into in the course of this experience, but it is First Sky Omaha in the morning. We're a little late, so let's go ahead and get this ball rolling. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, let's go.
Let's do it. What up? Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thanks for joining us this morning, getting up so early in the morning on this Monday, January the 23rd, already the 23rd of January. So thank you for joining us. We got a buenos dias from Lucia Rodriguez. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in on YouTube. Also, that woman says good morning. Appreciate you, Miss Erica Felt, and hope that you are doing well as well. We need to catch up.
Yeah.
Ariel's 402 says good morning, Chad Chimers. I love it. Viola Davis is who you were thinking of for Fences. She gave me the name. And just to talk about that a little bit, August Wilson play, black playwright, is a legendary cat. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time that the Playhouse in its 98 years has done an August Wilson play. So this is pretty legendary. And they got a whole bunch of stuff going on around it as well, workshops and stuff like that. So it's definitely worth talking about for sure. Betsy Freeman, who writes for the Omaha World Herald, found it very interesting and wrote a really nice article on that. So shout out to her for that. Christy North says good morning as well. Good morning to you over on YouTube. A lot of people coming on YouTube. You guys having trouble with Facebook this morning? I know that when I first got on, the very first thing the program did was dump me off of Facebook. I had to reconnect and do a bunch of stuff. So let us know if you're having trouble over there on Facebook. You can always hit us up on YouTube, though. Go to First Sky Omaha, the YouTube channel, and we're live over there as well. So right now, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and that is it. And you can always go back and check the shows out. If you miss any parts of it, you can see it in its entirety by going back to either Facebook or YouTube and watching the show again. But shout out to all of you that are on now, that are hanging with us throughout the show, and that contribute with your comments. That's what this is all about. So really appreciate it. Mark Manor said John Beasley did a fantastic version of Fences on stage here some years ago. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Brother Beasley. We talked to him one time. He was actually going to do that on film until Denzel came and swooped him up. He ain't too happy about it. He's like, man, until that doggone Denzel came and swooped it up and did, he was all set to go on it too, man. I was like, man,
dang.
Yeah, he would have killed the game. So I'm glad that you were able to see that, man. I was hoping that was going to happen this time around, but I still don't get to see Brother Beasley do the Fences.
Man, actually, I do remember that. That made a lot of fanfare. That was all over the news when Brother Beasley did that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he killed it. I mean, he's John Beasley. Like he killed it. But yeah.
He was
I'd be a little salty too, man. I'd be like, Denzel.
Everybody in the room was like, man, but didn't Denzel do a great job? And Brother Beasley was like, well, let me tell you the story. Kind of mad at Denzel right now. I was like, man, and a brother like Beasley, they know each other well, I'm sure. So,
He
talk about his friend. He talking about somebody he knows. Like, yeah, I'm kind of mad at him right now. I was like, wow. Chrissy North says, I've been coming in on YouTube because it seems to stream better. Plus, I'm nosy and miss folks on the chat over on FB. That's what's up. Appreciate you coming on in. I mean, we'll be on both. I mean, there's just no getting around it until they throw us off. We did come off of Twitter though. We weren't getting a whole lot of play over there, and it's fluctuating, this in and out. I don't know what's going on with Twitter. I don't know what's going on with Elon. So Facebook and YouTube is it so far. For those of you that have been asking me about Fanbase, I have been putting personal stuff over on Fanbase. I'm kind of moving over there. It's still very, very young program app, but it is a Black-owned social media app that we've been talking about moving over to. They're adding features all the time. So I just saw them do a podcast, a kind of a live stream podcast thing like we did at their studios. So I'm wondering what programs they use now, because at the time that we were going to try to go over there, they didn't have our program. So we're still going to work with them and see. I advise everybody to go over to Fanbase, take a look at it, see if it's something that you'd like to check out. But just know it's real slow. It don't move like Facebook and Twitter with billions of users.
Yeah. The activity, I think, is less than 1 million right now.
Yeah, it's like 500,000. So it's the activity is very
But I mean, if you're into tech, you're into that kind of thing, there's definitely the opportunity to get on the cutting edge of something new. And the learning curve isn't too crazy. It's pretty much set up like Instagram, but it has like Clubhouse-esque features and a lot of different things, a lot of cool things. So
it's interesting though for me. I looked at this thing like, oh, okay, I didn't know how used to the fast pace of Facebook and stuff I am now. Like it moves slow enough for me to go, oh, okay. I don't see a new post quite yet on. Let me add some more folks to it. Like it's really interesting to see, because I thought that I would be fine with that pace, but like I obviously am used to this faster pace social media life now. So.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you kind of got to get into it, man. And eventually we will do more like social media, posting and advertising and things like that. But definitely appreciate the growth that we have. Again, big shout out to Mayor Sanchez for always keeping us on top of our YouTube subscribers. 170 right now, trying to get to 200, so we got another reason to celebrate. But yeah, hit us up. Definitely bang that dilly, if you will. Hit the like button, hit make sure you subscribe, get the bell notification when we come in, all that good stuff, man. So we appreciate y'all. Also look out, man, we do have a new website on the way, in the works. Definitely excited about that. So yeah, man, it's definitely moving forward. So yeah, we appreciate all the support that we have And yeah.
That's what's up. Appreciate you joining us. It's 7:25 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's go ahead and jump into some of these stories that we got going on here in anticipation of our special guest that'll be coming here soon. Once again, we have a special guest coming in from Flatwater Free Press, and I keep forgetting her name, but I'm going to get it to you right this minute.
Sara
Okay.
Gentzler.
Sara Gentzler, thank you very much. Yeah, Sara Gentzler, brand new writer over at Flatwater Free Press, and is jumping in head first on the issues. So we'll be talking to her pretty soon. In the meantime, between time, what we got on the agenda, buddy?
Well, as we mentioned, want to start with a recap over the weekend. We last week started off our season with a kind of a deep dive into what's going on in the towers situation. Of course, affordable housing has been a buzzword for the last couple years, something that we've continued to look at, because actually I'm currently in the process of having to move and go on that house hunt again, and reminded again just about how much you need a hookup. We kind of last week talked to Chris Baby Boy Bolin about his living situation, and just reminded like that's really the same. But what if you don't have a hookup? And what if you are in a situation where you have to leave? Where do you go? What do you do? And that's really the question for several tenants at the Evans Towers and several other towers throughout the Omaha area. Again, the bed bug situation, the water situation, and we're really trying to get to the bottom of it. So again, if anyone was a volunteer, if you did make it out there over the weekend, I would definitely love to hear from you, get your experience. We also have brother Jazari Kowal in the chat talking about he will pull up. So yeah, just reminding the people that, let's not let this fade into the background. Let's not forget. Let's actually follow through and follow up on this situation. I still have not received a call from any of the people that I've called. Again, I called several people from not HUD, but OHA. Also called called a few people from the city of Omaha as far as the regulation offices. And yeah, have not received any calls back. So yeah, I would definitely love to hear from anyone who went up there. And I have thought about it a little more, although we have heard that there are some things. We did hear back from one of the chat chimers who spoke to one of the OHA staffers in the parking lot, I guess. And there's some.
Let me jump in real quick. I was trying to give you the signal to hold on for a second, so that we hold on to that story, so we can get some of the people that arranged that thing in. But I just saw good timing. Amy Huffless just came in and said, "Good morning, Familia." She's the one that talked to the OHA person in the parking lot that you just spoke of, and helped organize the situation this weekend. So, Amy, I think good morning to you. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll give you a little moment, but can you please and Brianna Full too, morning y'all. I'm glad that you both are on. Right. Give us a little update on what went on this weekend, if you wouldn't mind, just to let us know how the turnout was. I know we asked for some volunteers and stuff like that last week, and you guys were at the forefront of organizing some help there. So let us know on that one. We'd love to hear that. And Buddy, I'm glad you reminded me that you made those calls and that you haven't heard back from anybody quite yet, because I think that's kind of par for the course for a few people. If you guys remember, there's a reporter that went over that they kind of got called security on for going over there. I know that in the putting together of all those things that they were trying to do this weekend, Ms. Brianna Full and Amy Huffless, also Kimra Snipes and Precious McKesson, they were putting all these things together to try to help to put some help together this weekend. And everybody was real like, let's make sure that nobody gets the security called on them, and all that type of thing too. So there is a little bit of we see that they don't want to respond all the way. They don't want to be embarrassed. It would be better if they can get the whole truth out, the whole story, real talk, real time. But as per usual in Omaha, we got to fight for that information. So I really just want to make a comment on that. I appreciate you making that call during the show so that we can try to get that, get some word on some stuff. And it's noted that they have not reached back out to you on that. So,
yeah.
And so anyway, yes, ladies, let us know.
Yeah, definitely would love to hear about what's going on with that, and hear your experience, because it's kind of been back and forth for me personally. Like when I first caught wind of this story, I mean, even when I heard about the Legacy Crossing situation, I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's going on, especially in the dead of winter? 15 degrees, man. You don't want people being worried about being put out on the street in the middle of that situation, or in this time. I mean, really any time, but this time definitely. And I just thought about it when I first heard it. I was very adamant. I mean, when we had the dynamic duo, if you will, Sister Precious McKesson and Kimra Snipes on last week, and we played the video, and they started crying, and it just a lot of emotion at that time, and reasonably so. It's hard to see anyone going through this, but then you kind of get more information, like, okay, reportedly there's only 7 units out of the 110 or so units in Evans Tower that's supposed to have a infestation, if you will. And you can just, okay, there's some budgeting things. You kind of start to pull back, like, okay, is this something that could be avoided, or is this something that people are trying to do and their hands are tied? You try to give people some leeway, if you will. And now I'm going back and thinking about it, like, yeah, there is some budgeting things, and maybe there are some things out of OHA's control. But what is it with security guards being called on reporters? What is it with tenants being afraid to speak up because they're afraid of getting evicted and things like that? Like, what is causing that culture of fear, if you will, for tenants to feel like they can't speak up about bed bugs, something that's sending them to the hospital? What's up with that? So definitely, again, would love to get more answers, get more to the bottom of it. As Paul said, I still have not received calls, so what's up with that? We got to do better in communicating with each other.
Well, Steph, in the chat, Amy Helpless on YouTube is saying, we just wanted to talk to some tenants, gather information, and make sure they're connecting with any help or resources they need. So that's what's up. She also says, we didn't get past a few floors before we were kicked out. The resident manager said we needed the property management permission. That was that we were violating tenants' privacy. OHA Public Safety were called on us. Man. Brianna Full says we did get kicked out. Brianna Full says we did get kicked out by management, but spoke to a few residents. Residents were saying a lot of things, confirming what we were worried about. Also, Wanda Lewis says bed bugs don't work like that. They don't pick a unit here and there. They do a hostile takeover. Okay. Yeah, that woman says, I know the bed bugs aren't widespread, but heat, cooling, homeless, violent security guards are a decades-long problem. Talking about more problems at those towers for sure. Amy Huffless, more information on YouTube, says we are compiling the info we did gather. Have a few more calls to make this week. I'm very interested in connecting resources to folks who live there. So really good work, really good work on this. I really appreciate everybody who is doing this. This is kind of the reason why we want to put these types of shows together here, so we can kind of spur to some action and help as much as we can as far as any kind of action items are concerned. Kind of knew that this was going to happen. To you guys, like I said, we have some experience with the towers because of the radio channel. We definitely had to go through a lot to get cards and keys in order to be able to get into the building.
Man, it still was a challenge.
Yes, very much so. And I know even, not just the towers, but most enclosed apartment complexes don't really allow people to come in and solicit or knock door to door or any of those types of things. That's something that was not a surprise to me that they would call security and say that you're violating tenants' rights. You got to get permission from the management, so on and so forth. That's not just a towers thing. I think that's a thing that happens in all enclosed apartment complexes that way. You do have to talk to them. But if you need to talk to them about what management is doing, how do you get past that type of thing? So yeah, so they went out and gathered some of that information, which I think is great. Christy Norris says, I think the bed bugs are worse than they are saying. Yeah, somebody else said that was a lie too. Mimi said that was a lie. Christy Norris said earlier. Amy Huffman says, also really interested in digging into the budgeting for public housing in Omaha and what we need to fill any gaps there. So this goes along with what we were talking about. A lot of the conversation that we were having about this situation had to do with breaking up the different things that need to be done. We need to be looking at things on a budgeting level, legislative level, making people do their jobs, management level, but also on the feet on the ground, talking to people, getting people help, and everything else that needs to be done there. So really shout out to Amy Hutflis Brianna Full, Kimmer Snipes, and Precious McKesson put some respect on all their names for arranging and going out, and everybody else who volunteered. I'm not sure if who else went out, and I'm not sure if anybody else wants to be named, because there was a little bit of, we need to figure out how to get out here without getting people in trouble, and all that. So, but everybody else who reached out to them and volunteered to go and figure out what we can do to help on a bunch of different levels. So Amy Huffman says our goal is to have a working relationship with OHA in a transparent manner, but we will fact check everything. So have that relationship as well, and with OHA, but also have that relationship with the tenants as much as possible. So shout out. Thanks for the update on that. And hopefully we can have you guys on. As a matter of fact, we were talking about Brianna. If you would, if you are cool with coming on Wednesday, come on Wednesday and give us a little update in person too on what's going on. You have a little bit more time to kind of go over the notes and give us another update on those activities. And let's just keep that in mind, man. This season might be the season for that, for action.
Yeah,
for us to talk about these things and then put some organize some things together, do some more our own fact finding. There's never enough information out there given by anybody. It's always a fight to get the info. So we might as well, if we have enough people, we might as well get down on going and find that, getting that info ourselves.
Yeah, and as Amy just said, not just getting the info, but also doing your due diligence to make sure the info is correct, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. So got to sift through the bull, y'all. But we appreciate everyone who was willing to do it. Thank you, ladies, for your hard work. And definitely. If anything shakes, let us know.
Yeah, that woman said, remember something. Cabrini Greens were projects. The towers were projects, but without children.
I was looking at that. I mean, they pretty much do look like, your New York, Chicago kind of style projects, just not as tall, but straight projects up, nonetheless. And when you go in them, feels like projects. I mean, the elevator barely works. Urine all in the stairwell. I mean,
sometimes that is the case. Yeah, we have we have experienced that as in the times that we've been in there. But for the most part, man, it's it's everybody doing the best they can, and like to me, there's more building maintenance. I've been inside a few of the residences from people that I know and family members that I know too. Inside the homes, different story. So to me, there's a lot of building maintenance on in the common areas and stuff like broken elevators and stuff like that really needs some attention.
That's what I'm speaking to. I don't want to condemn or shame anybody who lives in those areas, because doing what you can, doing the best you can. But that is my point when I bring up those types of things. Where's maintenance? Where is the general upkeep of these buildings that's beyond the ability and really the responsibility of the tenants themselves?
There you go. T Ren over there, Tania Patterson on YouTube is saying hello, everyone. Appreciate you. Miss Cheryl Weston in the house. Good morning. Says the Harrison family is only requesting a waiver for February rent. They are taking care of the bed bugs problem for their father. Thanks for coming on and reminding us about that part of the story too. Some people are leaving but still having to pay rent. They're still under those leases and have to pay rent even while not living there, which is another issue, another problem. That's definitely something that needs to go to OHA and management to try to fix. Because if you have to leave your home because there's a bed bug infestation, then you should not have to keep on paying rent if you're out. So I don't know what they have in store for the people that had to leave or have to leave. But that's another way that we might be, keep our eyes open. They might need some help with that. On real tip. That woman says, I'm not comparing populations. My mother lived in the towers. I'm talking structure, intent, and technically both projects. Very true. Amy Huffler says, my mom was telling me about the projects in New York in the 60s and 70s and how great of an experience it was. They were taken care of. The tenants had pride and took care too. Help folks as a stepstone. Interesting that was the case in the 60s and 70s, because my experience with with places in New York in the 80s was different.
And man,
because that stuff went, because as soon as the feds started bringing crack into the situation, then
Planet Rock,
then the projects turned into what we know of as projects. Von Chapman says, where is the Douglas County Health Department involved in this situation? It's a good question.
It is a good question.
Brother King, I know Phil Rooney was on the show the other day. Maybe we can get some next time he comes on. I know he comes on pretty regularly. We should find out. We should find out what's going on with the health department and what they're doing about these incidents as well. Alice B60 says they need security too. Okay. Wanda Lewis says I did call some professionals. They said all bed bugs need is a host, a person to feed off of. Bed bugs can live more than 6 months off one bite. One bed bug can lay 500 eggs at one time.
Man.
Goodness. Yeah, man. I've never had to personally deal with it, except for I did have a friend that was living in a different complex on the west side, as a matter of fact, and had a bed bug situation. And I just remember we had to burn all of her sheets and mattresses and clothes and everything because of the infestation. So that's my personal experience with knowing anything about it. That woman said, heck, Cabrini used to be nice. HUD allowed to deteriorate until demolition. T. Wren said, pushing paperwork nowadays, if the state and feds don't care about the tenant and the dangerous conditions, the tenants eventually won't. Well, yeah, I can see how you can say that. That's it's unfortunate, but they're not the only ones that we also can do something about caring about these situations too, as much as we can.
Right. So again, big shout out to everybody who is putting the best foot forward and trying to assist in this situation, or whether it's Sister Cheryl Weston for giving the family a platform, or the sisters Amy Huffless and Brianna Full for actually getting out there and talking to the people, touching the people. And again, we'd definitely love to hear what you have coming up.
Yep, we'll talk to the women on Women's Wednesday. Don't forget about Precious McKesson and Kimera Snipes, and now Brianna Full gonna be on too. So we'll be talking to them, and I'm sure we'll get an update on what's going on there.
Yeah. But let's keep it moving, man. Speaking of updates and intimidation and things like that, what's going on with the Omaha police, man? That's definitely something that we can't get too deep into the season without touching on and talking about. Definitely a situation that we watched closely last year surrounding the sheriff's race. Again, probably one of the best interviews we had last season with Brother Greg Gonzalez, and really looking at what's going on with the police situation. Of course, baby boy Bowling, Brother Chris Bowling, asking the infamous question now, who polices the police? Who polices the police? And if you have, again, police officers who it seems like, and this is just Buddi3 Da Gawd speaking, it seems like are being intimidated for speaking up for themselves. What is there to say for us? What about the little person, the average man? If you don't know what I'm talking about, to give you a quick overview, I believe former now police officer Kathy Belcastro Gonzalez alleged that she was wrongly bypassed for promotion despite scoring high on the city's third-party testing process. I believe actually there was even a retest to try to move the goalpost on her, and she still scored high, yet she did not receive the promotion that she pretty much felt like that she deserved. And actually eventually won that argument in court. And then, of course, you fast forward to now her husband, Greg Gonzalez, running for sheriff. And there was a videotape that was released. And there's some controversy going on behind the scenes behind what happened with that videotape, where it came from, who got it, how it was released. Because, again, the videotape showed some unsavory actions by Greg's then opponent and now the current sheriff, Aaron Henson. Now we fast forward to today, or this week, and apparently there is a retry over Belcastro Gonzalez, and there is continued arbitration for that. The Omaha Police Department apparently mishandled an internal investigation that led to the firing of Captain Kathy Belcastro Gonzalez. That's according to an arbitrator who concluded in a decision that has led to her partial reinstatement. Again, she was fired and now partially being reinstated. The arbitrator found that the city violated its labor contract with the Omaha Police Officers Association by not giving Belcastro Gonzalez proper notice before police interviewed her as a part of the investigation last year. Also, as a result of the decision, the city has vacated Police Chief Todd Schmader's firing of Belcastro Gonzalez in 2022 while she was suing the city in federal court. She eventually, of course, as I mentioned, prevailed in her court case in September when federal jury found that Schmader did pass her over for promotion to deputy chief in retaliation for her having filed a gender discrimination harassment complaint with the mayor's office. The city is expected to appeal that ruling. So again, more litigation continues. But according to the arbitrator who issued their decision earlier this month, the arbitration does not mean that Belcastro Gonzalez is back to work on the police force. She is only back on paid administrative leave. So she's not fully fired, but she's not fully back on patrol. The same status that she held last year during the whole controversy of the investigation. And it's according to this report from Omaha Rural Herald, Schmader might fire her again. And Paul, if you kind of remember, we had a conversation going back to the Bear Hills, again, Zachary Bear Hills situation where he fired those officers and they were brought back. Again, this is the same process, only now it's kind of feeling like, the table has turned almost as far as, should she have been fired? Should she have been fired? And, maybe this litigation is right.
According to she won it, so it got to be right. She won the case.
There you go. And according to Deputy City Attorney Denard Endenbosch, in an email, the arbitrator determined that we could not consider the two interviews of Kathy Belcastro Gonzalez that took place in February when a party is the subject of an internal investigation for inappropriate conduct. We believe that is important to give that person an opportunity to respond to the allegations. The police department intends to re-interview her on the allegations of her inappropriate conduct. After that interview, the chief will consider the interview and the rest of the investigation and make a decision. So there is ongoing back and forth litigation with this, but of course, it all continues to seem retaliatory in nature. And now to move forward, there's a reports earlier this month of an investigation that's going on, and some again are drawing comparisons between those two because the subject of the investigation is none other than Greg Gonzalez's brother, Rich Gonzalez. Rich Gonzalez is the executive director of PACE and a retired Omaha police captain. Agents apparently searched the home of also Officer Johnny Palermo, who was then the president of the Omaha Latino Peace Officers Association, also known as the LPOA, which also helped start PACE, which again, Rich Gonzalez was the executive director of at one time. So again, the nature of the investigation seems to stem from finances. Those being investigated apparently had their phones tapped by federal authorities. Sources have told the newspaper, i.e. the World Herald, that the investigation involves Palermo and those who are not related, Gonzalez and former LPOA president, Omaha police officer Daniel Torres, is also a subject of the investigation. Apparently since 2021, reportedly public money either donated or pledged to PACE totaled at least $886,000. And I guess there's some questions surrounding those funds. People connected to PACE or LPOA says last week that they want to continue the work, but again, the investigation does continue. Now, there is some speculation that this investigation also has to do with the Gonzalez situation, but it rounds me right back around to my question. What's going on?
At this point, we'd be doing a whole lot of speculation, but it seems to me I definitely think there's retaliatory things happening. I think it felt to me like, man, is this family under attack? You know what I'm saying? I talked to other people that were involved in some of the PACE situation, and they even were doubting, like, well, maybe he did do something wrong. Like there's a lot of speculation going on, but to me, some of the things that stand out is why was there an FBI investigation? How did it jump to the FBI needed to be in Palermo's house and Gonzalez's house? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did it jump to that? They still looking for this tape? I'm just ask, like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they using these? Are they using these? Let's go up in here and find out what they got going on in their house, looking for this tape. Wanda Lewis in the chat said OPD wanted another try at her, a do over. Yeah, like she won this case, should be done, cut and dry, but they want to retry it. Wanda Lewis says, I thought that once you're found innocent at first trial is final. However, they are on a witch hunt with so-called new evidence of witness tampering. Sounds all very suspicious. And after that conversation that we had with Brother Gonzalez on the show, he basically said that on the show too. He's like, look, if they treat us like this, how they treating everybody else?
Exactly.
So we're supposed to be police officers here. So and I thought it was very interesting too that his wife's case was kind of pretty much against Schmaderer. So we've been talking about some of the things. I remember back in the Bear Hills days, we were talking about the job that Schmaderer had, firing people that caused that man's death, and then him having to deal with the police union putting pressure to put some of those officers back hired. And now he's supervising people that he fired and doesn't have any power to fire again. And now here we are on the other side of it, where now something was going on against him, and now we're like, okay, well, what's the response? Is we're gonna retry? We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just a lot of this feels a little bit like like retaliatory, like you said. There's no, I'll be speculating. There's no evidence here from my perspective, but that's what it seems like to me when you're reading these stories and putting these things together. It seems like they messing with these folks. Who polices the police? Like that's you were saying, like Baby Boy said, T Ren in the chat on YouTube said nobody in her Keith Sweat voice. So you gotta, that's right. Where do you even go to get any kind of that information? Where do you go? T Ren said if they did do it, the higher ups been holding on to it until it benefited.
Man,
see, that's what I'm saying. There's all the speculation. Arrows 402 says love Johnny P, hate the job, love my dude. Okay. Von Chapman says, who weaponized the FBI for political gain, retaliation? Why is the FBI involved? I'm still trying to figure that out. Over what? So if there's been some money withholding or something like that over the PACE program or whatever these programs are, that's such a to me that's such a localized situation. Why is the FBI involved?
And again, this is just not us speculating. In the article, the attorney for Belcastro Gonzalez even stated, she says, we think that this entire process is retaliatory. Any further investigation from our perspective was seen to us to be in retaliation for the verdict that Kathy obtained against the city and Chief Schmaderer. It is also important to note that, again, this arbitrator themselves decided that the city did violate their internal investigation process. So again, this is a value question. Like, this is a real question. Who polices the police? And I'm putting all this under the umbrella. Again, there is a citizen review board bill that is going to be on the session, and our senators need our help.
Speaking of that, it's a good time to remind everybody this season we are definitely going to be trying to get some bodies up to Lincoln to be in the room when some of these bills and some of these things happen. The senators have reached out and said we need people that have our back up there because we're fighting the good fight and we're pretty much by ourselves. So I'm going to definitely put some information together to make it so that we can make it easier on us trying to get some rides to get up to be able to back the senators working. And I'm going to try to keep this on all of our minds so that we can make that happen. Wanda Lewis in the chat says they need to reach out to Blue Snitch. That's who released the tape. Did Blue Snitch release the tape? I wasn't aware that was what we figured out. However, they have nothing to gain from her because she's not the one suing them.
It's a good point.
Very good point.
Definitely need to follow up with her, see what she's been up to.
I was thinking the same thing for sure. We're definitely going to follow up with Blue Snitch. Those of you that missed the interview that we had with Blue Snitch last season, whoo man, that was a doozy. You're talking about somebody calling out the police, somebody trying something else. Wanda Lewis says, I feel like they hid the tape from us where there's transparency. That part, yeah. Where's the transparency? That's a good question. This tape that we're talking about was again a police police body cam video of a now sheriff roughing up some young kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that got released to the public. So they're feeling like, well, somebody must have stole the tape from the police in order to do that. That's where they wanted to switch the narrative instead of what happened on the tape.
Right.
And here we are still going through that because they feel like that tape got taken by somebody associated with people that are kind of battling that sued Stothard. I mean, sued Schmatter, sued the police department. And and all of that. So like every time I read something like this, I keep on going. Is this family under attack? Is the police really going after this family and their friends?
So it seems like.
Yeah.
So it seems like, and mind you that it's very interesting that these are people on the margins, that are kind of getting this. I mean, we're talking about the Latino Peace Officers Association. So these are groups of brown people, and I hate, we're not, crayons, but these are brothers and sisters. Like, these are not your typical European men, and they're getting this treatment. And again, the whole situation with Kathy Belcastro Gonzalez is because she was a woman. Like that, she filed a sexual discrimination suit. And now she's being chased. Like,
and won. Wait, you skipped over that part. And won. Won a bunch of money.
That part. So again, what is the culture? I'm getting at what is the culture of the Omaha Police Department? Seems like if you're not a European man, then you can get turned on.
Marianne Williams in the chat, she's over on YouTube, says, good Monday morning, all. Good morning to you. The police investigated themselves and found themselves untouchable. Fascism 101.
Who polices the police? That's all I'm saying. Again, Citizen Review Board bill is on the docket. Will be discussed in session. Let's make sure we get some eyeballs on that.
Let's do that. We got our special guest in the wings. We're going to take a quick break and come back on and bring on Sara Gentzler. And stay tuned because you definitely want to be part of this conversation as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. All Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners. Thank you very much for everybody that has joined us this morning. Before we get to our special guest, just want to jump into the chat real quick. That woman says she sued, won, and still wanted to be an officer. Yeah, very interesting story there. Also, Cheryl Weston says, here we go again. Omaha Firefighters Union President Steve LeClaire was fired from his position for assault of a black woman at an Omaha bar. the Mayor Police Department cost the taxpayers $500,000 to fight the firing.
Again, it's just very interesting, who they try to save and who they try to chase, But,
that's right. Who polices the police? Nobody. Who polices the police? Nobody. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest from Flatwater Free Press in the house, Miss Sara Gentzler. Good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Not too bad for a Monday morning, I guess. I'm usually more tired than this, but not too bad. Yeah. How about yourself?
Also, yeah, pretty good. I would say I just tried to enable my camera, but it didn't work. I'm sorry. I've never done this on this computer, so.
Oh, it's no problem. It's no problem. As long as we can hear you clearly, that's what matters today. I'm sure we'll have you on again, and we'll get it all straight.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but welcome again. As you mentioned, you've never done this on this computer. This is actually your first time with us here on First Sky Omaha. Yes. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Sara Gentzler, a new writer for Flatwater Free Press. How long have you been with Flatwater, and how has your time been?
It's been great. I started part-time, I think it was like November. Yeah, no, 1st of November. And then I just started full-time in January. So it's been just, let's see, 3-ish, almost 3 months. Okay. And it's been a really good fit. I really like doing the longer term sort of investigative stories. I was at the World Herald before, and I also enjoyed that a lot, but it was more of a daily newspaper is a different beast. So this is nice.
Oh, yeah. Different cycle.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've been with Omaha. Are you from Omaha, or where are you from?
Yeah, originally I grew up in Gretna, and then I moved out to the West Coast after college for about 6 years, and then came back in 2021 or 2022. I can't remember. I'm going to lose track of it, but somewhat recently I came back to Nebraska.
Okay, we always say here if you believe in the concept of time, because it just seems it speeds up. So we understand. we understand. But okay. So this is your first story, I guess. Before we get into the story, because we definitely do want to talk about your story about Justin Wayne and his ties to Sankofa and again LB 1024, which actually we just had Senator Wayne on the show on Friday. So we'd definitely love to hear what you have to say and what you found in your report. But kind of before that, we do have some people in the chat asking about you. We answer where you're from. How did you get into reporting? Kind of what is your story?
I've always been really curious and like to write a lot. And those two things together eventually led me to reporting in college. After college, I was really, I didn't see any jobs in journalism that were available that I thought looked enjoyable at all. So I went and I worked at the Apple store for a while. And then worked my way back into journalism after I went to grad school for a little bit, but that wasn't a good fit, withdrew. And it was really, reporting was always going to be, I think, what I returned to, because it's like the most natural fit for what I like to do. It's basically like you get to, learn about a new thing every day, and it's unpredictable, and you just you learn a lot about something, and then you move on to the next thing. It's just a really great job. And so it drew me back in, and I'm really glad it did. And that's the short version. Yeah.
Okay. It might be a little, actually, I went to school for journalism as well. And it might be a little biased, but it always stuck out to me. One of my professors mentioned that journalists are usually the smartest people in the room, because they have to be so informed about everything in order to report it and break it down to the people. So yeah, definitely if you have a love for learning, reporting is the right place. So okay, it's nice to know we got the right people in the place. And of course, Flatwater, Matt Hansen, Matt Wynn, awesome team over there in Natalia. You definitely with the right people.
They are so great.
Yeah. So we're definitely looking forward. Glad to have you on the team, and looking forward to some of the work that you will do. But let's talk about the work that you have done. Kind of how did you get into this story? What kind of tipped your interest, or what was the first inclination that you had to pursue this story?
This is the LB 1024 story with Justin Wayne? Yeah. So
correct.
This actually came to me from my editor, who suggested I look into it. So I'm not sure how it came to him, but I I think just generally ARPA funds, these federal funds that have to be dispersed quickly, and it's just a ton of money. I think as I'm the state government watchdog reporter, like an accountability reporter, and I think that is just a topic that's right for me to be paying attention to. Like I need to be paying attention to where that money's going, because anytime that much money is being spent, especially when it's being spent quickly by government, I think it's important to make sure that people are held accountable for those decisions that are made.
Okay. So I'll be honest. When Paul and I, Paul sent me the report as far as the suggestions or the request for the Olsen report, and we did look at who got money and who didn't, especially just having a vested interest in the community and just wondering what is going on with all of this money. We did see that Sankofa was a part of it. And I'm kind of curious, did you kind of get did your spidey senses get to tingling when you saw this, or what was your feeling going into your investigation of
this? I think my feeling, I wasn't familiar with Sankofa, but I mean that didn't mean much to me because I don't know. I don't live in North Omaha. I'm not sure. Maybe this is something that everyone's familiar with. I think for me though, once it was looking into the paperwork, that then led me to think like, oh, this is interesting. Like if you trace it back far enough, and it's this Sankofa Development Corporation, and it's Justin Wayne signing it, and if he's the one who's in charge of this whole oversight committee, it just felt like, okay, this is worth pursuing to try to figure out how did this group evolve? How did they get to be this group that got $40 million in that recommended $40 million in the report from Olsen? And just, I think all of those things together made it worth exploring more. And at the very least, I was going to bring it to Senator Wayne and ask, what's going on? What's this about? That sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know, Paul, I'll let you, kind of speak for yourself, but as an Omaha native, a North Omaha native, I wasn't very familiar with Sankofa either. And that was the kind of the path that I took when we looked at that report, like who is Sankofa, who's behind it. Let's do a quick Google search and you will find, I mean, it's not like the information is hidden or you got to put in, any Freedom, of Information Acts request. Right. It's out there. So you Google it and you will find the Justin Wayne name is on that, which will cause some eyebrows to raise. But I did mention we spoke to him on Friday, and he did also acknowledge that he was a part of that at the beginning and decided to step back once he found out that they were going with these funds. Did you happen to talk to him directly? What did he say?
Absolutely.
Or what did you find?
He was very communicative. I mean, we talked several times while I was reporting the story, and he said that, he helped a friend out to incorporate the name. He originally had the idea for this name, and then he helped a friend incorporate it. And he said that as soon as it was clear they wanted funding from this program that he was overseeing, that he told them to go ahead and start a new company. So yeah, that's in the story too, right? That's and he said he doesn't see a conflict of interest at all in there, and he partly, I think, because Olsen, this contractor, is the one who went through the whole process of grading the applications, although his committee would have signed off on the parameters for what made it, for how to grade the hey, there I am. How to grade the applications themselves. So I'm grateful that he was really open to talking the whole time. That was great. And I understand where he's coming from. I think he said that he originally in our conversation said that he would go ahead and declare a conflict of interest anyway, just to avoid a perception of a conflict of interest. But then by the end of, it might have been later that same day, I think even, he was like, never mind, I don't think I'm going to declare one. I don't see a conflict of interest at all. So I think still worth, putting sunlight on it and letting people see whatever connection may or may not be there. I think it's still important to report it.
Okay, so this is really just in the spirit of transparency, if you will. Did you have any other big takeaways from this, or did you get a sense that there's like a smoking gun or anything?
I don't know. I think sometimes this sort of thing is also just beginning to explore how the process went, and like this is just something that my first foray into looking into where the money's going in this plan, right? And this is something that's like maybe for some people they see it and they've been a deeper part of the process and want to talk to me about it, or maybe like, but I think for now this is something that I thought was important, but I think it was also important to provide context from, I think I have Jaqueen Fox in there, like people who, I have a former senator, like people who see this and say this is normal or it's not, or we just need more information. Like it's more, for me, it was more of like a starting point than
Okay.
yeah, I would say.
Okay. I do see you have former lawmaker John Stenner quoted in here, and he says, as far as long as things are fully disclosed and everybody understands what's going on, the relationship, what you're dealing with, it shouldn't be an issue. So I mean, that's the kind of the sense that I got from speaking to Brother Wayne. Just was wondering, from your journalistic viewpoint, what did you feel? But just good to know that your position as a watchdog reporter. Our kind of theme of last season was follow the money. So that's what we're all about, is just trying to follow the money. And as North Omaha and South Omaha residents, we're all too familiar with hundreds of millions of dollars coming into the community, and we're not really seeing the impact or the effects of it. So that's really always our question: where is the money going? So we definitely appreciate your work. Paul, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I wanted to jump into the chat real quick on YouTube. Ms. Cheryl Weston is asking, when did the senator pull out of any involvement? Do you know when he did?
That's a good question. So, I mean, I can only say what I can see in paperwork. But what I know is that, so he signed incorporating documents in August 2021. And then he signed new incorporating documents for a slightly different name, the Sankofa Economic Development Corporation, instead of just Development Corporation, in January 2022, which is also when this bill 1024 was introduced. And then the incorporating documents without him involved at all weren't signed until, I want to say September. So that would have been when this process was underway. I don't know when that conversation would have happened, when he said, I don't want to be involved in this, like, because obviously I wasn't there. And then in October, Sankofa Innovation District documents were signed. So Sankofa Innovation District, like the name itself, wasn't incorporated until October. Which would have been actually, I think they would have been signed even after the deadline for the grant process.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, interesting stuff here. Amy Huffless, I hope that answers your question there on the year, the timing. Yes, we definitely. So I think a lot of what it is that you are writing has been matching up to the things that Brother Wayne has come on the show to say. Conversations that him and I've had off the show as well. That's the Sankofa was a vehicle to get this kind of district built and use some of this money to really kind of enhance that area. And they may not even be the company that makes that happen logistically. There may be a whole nother company that comes in and does that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that that he, well, one of the things I kind of want to really mention too is just the communication piece, because we're so used to never ever getting any communication, never getting any answers anywhere for anything, that and knowing that the brothers senators especially can have taken the time to kind of speak up on it. I'm understanding more why they felt like they had to do that, because I wasn't aware of like what the kind of backlash and stuff that they were getting over being a part of the things that are going on. So I actually think we watchdog reporting is something that we are very much behind, and it actually can really do good in other ways as well. Like if you're here able to say, hey, I got my eye on this, and everything seems like it's up and up. Then that goes a long way for people that are trying to do the right thing on stuff too. It's kind of proven that here's a watchdog organization that's looking and seeing that. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. Miss Cheryl Weston says, thank you for answering my question. Vaughn Chapman is asking, after the senator is out of the office, is there anything to prohibit the senator from profiting from the program he initiated?
That is such a good question. I don't know. Not that I know of, but I'm not familiar with that. I don't want to answer out of turn, but I will look into it because I think that's an interesting question, especially because there's term limits. People can only serve for so long, and nobody's going to be more familiar with all the companies involved in something like this than the person who helped put it in motion, right? So that's an excellent question.
He also did mention he wasn't interested in rerunning for his position, so maybe he does have other plans. I am wondering, looking at the article, did you find something interesting, or what did you feel about the fact? And I see you mentioned it in the article that the person that I guess does run or is in control of the Sankofa corporation is his friend and fraternity brother.
I thought it certainly was worth noting. These things are really, it's hard because talking to the former Senator Sinner, and also Senator Wayne mentioned this sort of too. It's like when you're involved in your district as a senator and something like this comes up, like this opportunity, of course you're going to know people who are interested. It's hard for me as somebody who, like, I can't judge exactly how that's influencing. I think for me as a reporter, it's important to find the paper trail, like the incorporating documents that show, like, okay, he actually was involved at the beginning, like that sort of thing is more important to me than those relationships. Although those relationships I think are worth noting in understanding, because Nebraska's pretty small. These communities people know each other, and I can't just immediately say that's a smoking gun, right? But you do take note and make sure that that's a piece of the story, right? So important to include.
Yeah, I appreciate that approach. I appreciate there's a tendency for people, especially that are considering themselves watchdog reporters, to put some judgment on certain things, and the best thing to do is really just grab the facts, grab the paper trail, and then let people kind of make their own determination of whether that's something that needs to be looked into or not more.
Right.
Or just give it an opportunity to ask. We can have Brother Wayne on and just ask, did you hook your friend up? Whatever the real talk, real time is on that.
Sorry if you can hear my cat.
No, you're all right. You're all right.
I've never in my life heard like a cat making noise in the background of us. It's always dogs barking. I never heard a cat making noise. That's funny.
Oh yeah, there he is again.
You gotta. So we're gonna start calling you the watch cat of Nebraska.
Don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
I want to jump back to the chat real quick on YouTube, just so that we don't pass up what Miss Cheryl Weston is talking about here. She says people are missing the point and problem with the issue of LB 1024. The problem is the company, Olson, who was chosen to do the recommendation. Okay, so we'll put that piece of information out there. I don't know,
Cheryl, if you want to reach out to me, and talk about that, that'd be open to talking about it for sure.
Let's put your email address in the chat real quick, so anybody who wants to reach out can.
Yeah. Can I do that, or do you do that?
Send it to me. Then I'm sure it's probably just.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, send it to me, and I'll put it in the main chat. Either way, or if you have access to the main chat, you can do that too. It's no problem.
And kind of while you do that, I am curious, how much did you look into the Olson involvement in this whole process? I know early on when we talked about it, with our audience, we had a lot of questions about Olson, who Olson was, where they came from, and what level of involvement that they had. So I am kind of curious what you found about that. And then also, Cheryl Weston, what do you say the problem is the company? I'm kind of curious what do you perceive the problem to be?
I'd be curious too. I think, I think Olson, I know just like the basics of how they're involved at this point, but it's something that I want to continue looking into, just how not necessarily like because I'm feeling like something is off, and just because I want to understand the process more, because it was a very intense process.
It is. It's a lot of money too.
So I want to make sure that I understand what things the committee did, what Olson did, what the state's responsibility is, that sort of thing.
Totally. I like the idea on paper, the strategy of bringing in an independent organization to evaluate, especially in a small town when everybody knows everybody. Here's a organization that has members of the organization that is not familiar with everybody that way, and can just kind of give an independent thing. But is that how it went? Does the watch does the watch cat reporter, does that person see if that's how that went or not, like it's supposed to have gone,
Right.
So very, very interesting questions. Amy Huffler says the parameters of the conflict of interest are, I don't know. This is such a small town. Heck, Olson is involved with a lot. So
that's what my mind is. Brother Wayne, Brother McKinney, Senator McKinney, put some respect on his name on Friday, kind of mentioned that as well. Like, as far as some of the pushback and feedback that he's been getting, with people speaking up about, who they might know and who they might be involved with. But realistically speaking, in human nature, you deal with people who you have some kind of relationship with, that it's hard to help or assist somebody in something if they don't even know who you are. Like, I don't know you. I don't know what you're doing. I'm not familiar with you. So, as far as Amy is saying, the parameters of conflict of interest kind of are, questionable. You have to have some type of relationship to get things done.
I like the fact too that they leave themselves open to know everybody. It's not like they're shutting themselves off in a silo and just talking to the people they know. But just going back to the broader vision of all this, they are a couple of brothers that are trying to do something for the neighborhoods, and they've been trying to do something for the neighborhoods for years, and they got some ideas of what that is. So who would they talk to about it but their friends? Who would they talk to about it but people that they know can handle some of these things? They've talked to everybody. They haven't just talked to their friends. I know for a fact they were talking to Mike Maroney, OEDC, other organizations that could handle some of these developments and changes in the city, because that's the point. The point is the changes. Von Chapman says, was Olson representative of all the corporate entities in Omaha? I think we know the answer to that is absolutely not. They were not representative of everybody, but what were they representative of? It's a good question to have. Before we throw any more questions at you, it's 8:32 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I know you said in the email you had a previous engagement you need to get to. We don't want to keep you longer than you need to be at this point. Do you need to take off?
I should. I gotta get my kids to their grandma's house. So
yeah, get the kids where they got to go. We'll have you back on to discuss some of this maybe next week, maybe another time.
Yeah,
so
that sounds great. I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was nice, and we'll figure this camera situation out on this computer.
Yeah, the tech always gives us the blues. That's all right. It's understandable.
So we put Ms. Gentzler's name, email address in the chat. If you don't mind, we'll have some of the chat chimers hit you up personally with some questions. If you don't mind answering them from email. So if you got any more questions for her, please email her, and she'll be happy to answer those questions for you. And we'll have her back on to talk some more about this.
Sounds like a great plan. Thanks.
Right on. Thank you very much.
Right.
Man, watch cat. Sara Gentzler in the house by Water Free Press. Going down. Have a good one. Take care of them kids.
All right. You guys take care too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right. Sounds good, man. Let's take a quick break and gather our thoughts here. And we'll come right back and jump back into this discussion on this, because there's still more to talk about here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. All Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you. Thanks for everybody's comments, man, and everybody's great questions as well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
All
Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners. Pop's theme made it to season 5. Right on, Pops. Appreciate you, man. Ariel's 402 says, please hit the like button on your way in or out. Ariel's 402, man, is the steward of our YouTube channel. Really appreciate you pumping that up and reminding us to say those things when we can, and to get people to do that, man. We're gonna have a little thing for Ariel's 402 once we hit that 200. So appreciate all your work on that for sure. Appreciate it very, very, very much. I can't wait to get the answer to Von Chapman's question on this. Was Olsen representative of all the corporate entities in Omaha? Definitely when we get offline, I'm gonna send her an email myself and try to get that question answered for sure. Also, where we at? Marianne Williams says a positive note for me is the fact that Senator Wayne knew his name would be on it and there would be questions. He didn't influence to hide his involvement. Yeah, interesting. I really can't. I don't get the vibes of any funny stuff going on. I had them in the beginning. In the beginning, I was like, but I didn't have enough information. Mm-hmm. And the more information I get, the more those kind of vibes go away. Because just kind of understanding more of the situation, and that's what's standing out to me, is that this season we've already had more information and conversation about certain subjects than ever before. I feel like just because the subject, this particular subject here is just handled way differently than the other ones, than anything else we've been involved with. So I've been involved with a couple situations where they had some outreach, so-called community outreach, one meeting every 6 months, 2 meetings total for a whole block being built and all kinds of craziness. And this time it's like a regular conversation that is an ongoing conversation. You get to a point, you can get to the next point. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at. Cheryl Weston in the chat says the grant request should have been based on the applicants, not relationships. Why is it always that those smaller grants that did not have collaboration be dismissed, i.e. First Sky Omaha? Good question, and we can answer that now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So well, go ahead, buddy. You.
I mean, because I kind of ran the emotional gambit of what Sister Weston is talking about, because I critically looked through that report. Like we looked at the rubric, we saw how people were being graded, we saw what the intent of each individual proposal was, how things are being lined up. There is a vision, there is a plan that's being put forth, and I'm not too mad at it. Like okay, I can see that working. There 24th Street is basically going to be a historical region, and then 16th is kind of your tech region. So that's kind of the vision. Those are two things that we do need, especially in North Omaha. But the biggest thing is, if you look at that, yes, a lot of those people who did win do have connection to other proposals that did win. And I don't think that's a bad thing. We have a very bad problem in North Omaha. This is a community conversation. This is us looking in the mirror, being honest about us. And I've had it done to me personally. So I know we have a very bad problem in North Omaha of everyone working in silos. You know why Atlanta is so successful? Because people work together. It is a community. People support each other. That is not the case always in Omaha. You do you, I'm gonna do me. Or I'll say North Omaha. You do you, I'm gonna do me. As a community, we got to get out of that. There's not enough of us for us to just do us. We have to do it together, or else we're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. What we've learned about situations like Sankofa is that it's made up of several different organizations that could get this thing done, called the Tech District around 16th Street. That's a combination of homes. That's a combination of housing, of businesses, of all kinds of things. And they were saying, each individual organization could have put in something for it, but if they put it all under one umbrella, they can get much more. That's a bigger way that you can get more people paid. You can have more jobs. If you guys missed Senator Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, put some respect on their names on the Boss Show, 95.7 The Boss, Monday or Friday, excuse me.
They were on the show and they broke it down even further. They were saying, if you have an entity, they told Brother King on air, they were like, your proposal was saying that you can provide 10 more jobs. If you connected with Omaha Star first, if you connected with First Sky Omaha, if you connected with all these other entities that also are saying we can add 10 more jobs, then before you know it, you're in a situation where you can add 100 more jobs or 200 more jobs or 250 more jobs, like Wanda Lewis is saying. By collaborating, connecting, everybody doing their thing, but doing it as a collaborative, and then going and asking for the right amount of money for all the organizations to do what they do to reach those goals. What we did not do when we did our ask was we talked about our collaborations being is our partners like Flatwater Free Press and the Reader and so on and so forth. We didn't talk about how we will partner with the Omaha Star, how we will partner with 95.7 The Boss. Now that we know these things, and now that the boss knows these things, and now that a lot of people do because of Senator Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney explaining these things, we're all calling each other now, behind the scenes, like, okay, let's figure out how we can do this. Let's figure out how we can put Black media together as a whole, as a bigger project, and get better funding for it, and get a better plan for it. And because that's kind of what's going on. So it's because of the fact that we kind of dug deep into the report and been talking to the senators. Like I say, the communication on this stuff is light years away from what it has been for anything. And this problem that Buddi is talking about, that's our main problem. Crabs in the barrel, they talk about it all the time. The main problem with us is, circumstances for us doing First Sky Omaha is because of the fact that there was some non-collaboration going on with other Black entities before this got made. Man, we would love to be back collaborating with those folks, but if we're in an area that people just kind of, you do me, I'll do you. Unfortunately, that's not how that works. Everybody wants to lead it. There's always the issue and the problem. So this is a way that is going to force people to say, let's figure out how to work together. Let's figure out what we need to do.
And that's a response to the kind of the nonprofit trope that we've been talking about in the community, as far as all these different organizations fighting over crumbs, fighting over, $20,000 that's not really going to even, get a position that they need for a year. It's not really going to get them through the year. That's, in the grand scheme of things, that's crumbs. $20,000 when you got, Habitat for Humanity and, Habitat for Humanity, not Habitat for Humanity. What was the one with the dogs, the animals who always get all the money? Humane Society. I mean, they get millions and millions of dollars every year. And we have people who are trying to help with homelessness, people who are trying to help, people, and they're fighting over $20,000. And it's because organizations aren't working together. I mean, why is there 5 different museums? Why can't we have one museum building where people can go and we can all work together and share resources? Why?
Well, not just the building. We can have 5 different museums, but it needs to be a museum association that goes after bigger money in order to sustain it. That's the point of this. So, but that's, where everybody's used to just going for their own thing. And this is to me, this is a good way to get people to really start working together, forcing people to work together. We're not going, the recommendations aren't going to be there. We're not going to get that recommendation for the money if we don't figure out how to work together on it better. And I'm all for it.
Man, chat kind of going off. I do want to acknowledge somebody real quick. I just say what's up to Mr. Stewart, brother Stewart. Father-in-law is in the chat. What's up, brother Stewart? Thanks for coming through and speaking with us.
That's what's up. I love that. Appreciate that. He's over on Mr. YouTube Knight. There, Mr. Knight. Also, Ariel's 402 says is a North Omaha couple that recently bought the historic building in North Omaha. Yes, we're going to have them on the show. They've been talking to us. They actually got the keys to the old native Omaha building.
Hey,
there's a couple of North Omaha natives. They purchased the former native Omaha Club building. They actually reached out to us saying, "Hey, we want to talk to the folks about this. This is going to be a good thing. Let's get the community involved." This is another couple of brothers and sisters that want to have some communication about what goes on in the neighborhoods here and really talk. So we're definitely going to have them on. We're just trying to solidify a date, but thanks for bringing that up, Brother Ariels. Also, just jumping back into the chat on YouTube, that woman says, "I found it strange that every business was named except there was a category for children, and you had to dig into page 75 to learn it's 2 child cares, but no clarity on who owns or is behind them." something we should definitely look into. I forgot about that. It wasn't on my radar when I looked through it, but you're right. We should definitely go back and check that out and see what's going on with childcare situation there. Very important to a lot of our chat chimers. We need to look. Marianne Williams on YouTube says, this is the first time a spending bill has received this amount of scrutiny. I hope all spending bills going forward do too. It's a good process allowing the public to look under the hood.
Agreed.
I believe that. Juana Lewis says, developers create jobs for the construction companies of their choice. Once development or renovation is done, there will be very few jobs. In general, yeah, I think this plan is the reason why they're doing the plan like they're doing it is so that there can be more jobs available for after these things continue. I know that we had to say after we found a facility and we were able to move in and train folks that we will end up having this many, hopefully we'll have this many, we can employ this many people. So I definitely think that they're looking at how many people you claim you can employ once your plan goes through. And again, if we can, we need Black journalists.
Yeah.
That's our main thing is we put something out there so that we can find and train Black journalists to be reporting on North and South Omaha. Like, that have, people that have access to these places in North and South Omaha and can actually report on them. So does the Omaha Star, so does the Ernie Chambers channel, so does the Reader, so does Flatwater Free Press. Everybody needs more Black journalists. So our whole thing is let's build Black media out by training Black journalists. But how many people how many people do you need to train? How many people do you need that are trainers that you can employ as trainers? How long will it take people to train in order to get to the point where you can hire them? If you're just looking at just our situation, it's going to be, we hire 2 people, 3 people to train. Maybe we can get 10, 20 journalists trained. And yeah, that's great. And it's something that's definitely needed as far as we're concerned. But I can understand why the North Side needs more than just 20 jobs. The North Side needs more, there needs businesses that can supply 250 jobs, like Wanda's saying. For sure. Cheryl Esther says, great what you're saying, but the problem with those working together are the same old ones supposedly working together, and North Omaha is still in the same position for the last 50 years. Most deaf. They're going to have to prove something. They're going to have to prove something this time around. We being hopeful and the plan looks good and everything looks like it could work. But you're right. We've been hopeful before, so we definitely want to make sure that they're going to have something that they got to prove something this time around for sure. We'll see.
Yeah, and this is the opportunity, and that's kind of my point. This is the opportunity for people who haven't historically, been working together to change that, and to step into that light. So, that's really the point that we're making. Of course, there are people in the community that are working together, and you are right. Historically, that are the people who have always been working together. But that's the point. That's the problem. Let's change that. Let's all come together, like all of us. It's not that many of us.
That's right. Keatron Zykel in the chat. She says Noise will be back someday too. I hope so, and I hope that hope that we can continue to work with you. That's you definitely being part of our plan. So we're looking forward to all of these things that we think is important when it comes to the media and news, especially. Amy Huffless in the chat. She's on YouTube. She says this is not new to have a consultant hired by a government entity to help figure out how to disseminate a set amount of funds. It's important to attend the meetings where they present their findings. Most deaf, we don't have it puts a little, that tastes a little salty to me too, because we never have a good story to tell when it comes to bringing out outside entities to come in to tell us how to spend some money. We haven't had a good experience yet. This has been the best one so far. We have been able to see a little bit about what's going on with this particular entity, and then we have information from the senators about this entity too. But yeah, like I said, on paper, the plan is a good plan. Let's have an outside entity that doesn't have a bunch of ties and connections. Kind of look at this thing without any bias, and then you got to understand it still needs to go through. The senators still need to be able to look at it after the recommendations, and then after the senators, it still needs to go to legislature. Like the government, the city still needs to sign off on this stuff. So there's several steps that have to happen before anybody even gets chosen to get money in the first place. We're looking at is the first step of an outside organization giving us some suggestions. Some suggestions, right? That's all it is. Miss Cheryl West said, keep hoping. I heard that.
Right.
Von Chapman says, please don't let collaboration compromise your values or value system. It appears that once that happens, dependence on line in item funding from the state becomes a controlling factor. I'm glad you reminded us about that. Yes. Because that prompts me to remind you about something about us. We're building something here with First Sky Omaha that doesn't depend on anybody's outside funds, whether it was especially city or when it comes to foundations. We're taking what we can get now in order to build this thing, but what we're building is some self-sustainability in what it is we're trying to do. And if these things come along and we're able to get a bonus and able to expand, then it's a bonus. It's not how we stay alive, stay afloat. We stay afloat because we're trying to have some integrity with what it is that we're trying to do, and we're sticking to our value system. One of the value systems that we are trying to stick to is self-sustainability, and that's why we always put out, please, become a member, become a sponsor. We're kicking in some advertising here that we'll be doing for some people here soon. Everything that we're doing, we're trying to build some self-sustainability out there so that we don't have to ever depend on any of these types of things. But if millions of dollars is coming to North Omaha, we got a couple of different ways to think about that. What is it that we're doing for North Omaha that can benefit? And also, we're also in news. So what kind of watchdog and what kind of watch catting are we doing with that money coming in too? Got to talk about it.
I mean, I think you'll be a fool not to think about how you can get a piece or to at least consider the opportunity. Now, I definitely agree. You don't want to, break yourselves, bend over backwards and compromise your values to do it, because this is, where does that put you in the long run?
Very true. Wanda Lewis says it's hard to celebrate those who could buy a property for $1 and they get TIF and ARPA funding for renovations. What's the benefit for the community, especially when they get to control the narrative with the liquor license? Talking about one particular corner, I believe, with that one very specifically. Yeah. Recommendation says 0 on them. I'll tell you that right now. They already are recommending 0. So
no comment. No comment.
Mr. Knight says the good book for those who wish to build a consensus is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Okay.
Yep, classic. You ever read that one, buddy?
No. But I know Mr. Knight, an author himself, actually has a couple of books at the African American bookstore. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if it's a book recommendation from him. Got some power.
Speaking of which, I do gotta put this one up in front.
Hey, the deuce. Deuce.
Cousin Patricia Allen went ahead and did the thing. She's like the family historian out here, man, with all the photos and everything. I was so happy when I heard she was writing this. It's a doozy. I can't wait to dig even more into it, but definitely go check it out. And Miss Juanita called me too from African American Bookstore and was like, hey, put me in touch with cousin. We gotta get this book over here. So love it when the plan comes together. Like,
keep it in the fan.
Amy Huffless got a lot to say. She says, not saying it's right or wrong, but it's not new at all. Very true. The level of scrutiny on this funny when it's been the norm forever. Okay. Wanda Lewis says, when that opportunity isn't open to all, yeah, it is. It's hard to think about. It's hard to celebrate those who are getting those breaks when the opportunity isn't open to all. I agree. Mr. Knight says, sadly, some people are like having their egos rubbed to want to engage for self-benefit. This is true.
Yeah.
Errol's 402 says social media money, like, subscribe, comment, and share. Definitely. Yeah, that's part of the plan, brother Mayor Sanchez, for sure. We got to monetize our channels because that's just self-sustainability there too. Von Chapman says Omaha has a plethora of corporate businesses that have real-time job creation experience where they consulted for 1024.
It's a good question. Good question. And that kind of goes right along with one of the challenges with these proposals and with this conversation early on was just wrapping our heads around what development. I'm not a developer. I'm not familiar with the mechanisms that spur development, that entice big businesses. What does it take to bring a Google? What does it take to bring an Amazon, to North Omaha? What does that even look like? Those things I don't know, but those things definitely should be considered, when bringing this about. And yeah, that is something that we should also continue to look at beyond just collaborating and beyond that. And I do feel like from looking at the rubric that was used to grade some of these proposals, that is something that Olson did take into consideration. I wasn't mad that we didn't get a recommendation for any funds, because I could see our proposal, you know, we could restructure that to maybe bring on more jobs.
Yeah, we had holes in it, man. We musicians, we don't be writing grants. You know, that Justin Wayne said, I looked at your proposal and realized that you guys don't write grants. No. No, we're not grant writers.
Man,
so but luckily you know, like we can go to, you know, right now we're engaged with Julian Young and Julian Young Financial advisors, you know, so we got folks that references, you know, people that can help us get that right, get the thing written right, or plan the thing out better and all that. So learning experience, learning opportunity for us, and we're definitely gonna like I said, I wasn't mad either when I read it. It's just it's like, oh, I see the bigger picture now that I'm seeing, you know, the criteria and so on and so forth. And again, we've learned Olson's just step number one in a step of like 3 steps before you even get chosen whether or not you get any funds.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, most def. I want to wrap this up here. It's 8:46 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, brother Knight says, Mr. Knight says, land, ease of access, trained employment-based infrastructure, and especially tax breaks. Yeah, these are all very important things for any of those kinds of developments. Stacey Jean says, we often suffer due to lack of knowledge, for sure. Wanda Lewis says, a lot of people will receive funding with no accountability. We will never know what becomes of it. This is nothing new. It is an ongoing problem. I do see a little bit of the power, some of the usual suspects, you know, getting the money.
City of Omaha.
Yeah, I can see some of those things, but there's still some opportunity here. We'll just see what we can do. Mr. Knight says all things Black people don't have nor control in North Omaha intentionally.
Yeah, talking about land, ease of access, all of that, especially them tax breaks. We talk about TIF a lot, and let's not let the development and the money coming into North and South Omaha, you know, kind of distract us from TIF Alley, as we're calling it, and some of the development that's going on, in you know, the midtown downtown area. Let's all keep it front of mind, all of it.
For sure. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. All Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, sniff the coffee beans a little bit. We'll be right back, y'all. Oh, that was a bad transition right there. Let me try that all the way again.
Got to do better.
Gotta do better. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Good news on the way. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. All Buddi3 Da Gawd. Brianna Full got me thinking about doing a remix. Who police is the police? Nobody.
Who gonna give them what they need? Nobody,
baby. Hey man, thanks for everybody who's joining us and making some very, very great comments here. This has been an awesome conversation today. As a matter of fact, everything that you put on here, like I said, if you missed any parts of this show, first of all, you can go back to YouTube or Facebook and watch the show in its entirety. And when you do, jump into the chat and see the rest of the conversation that's going on in the chat. Very cool stuff.
Meantime, between time, we're only about 10 minutes out from the end of the show. So let's jump into a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. A little bit of good news.
Yeah, man. Some culture, some art coming to the community. Yes, and making history. Shout out to the Omaha Community Playhouse, who will open their first August Wilson play in its 98-year history, close to a century, and they're just now getting to my man August Wilson.
Come on,
but better late than never. Fences, of course, the legendary story has been told on many platforms. I mean, it's made its way, through the presses, books, plays, films. Denzel.
That
doggone Denzel couldn't let brother Beasley get to it. But anyway, this will be your opportunity to see the play in live in full person at the Omaha Community Playhouse. Again, Fences tells the story of a Black former baseball player who was dealing with the racial trauma from his days in the league, and kind of how that trauma affects his family life. The play is the 6th in the American Century Cycle, which is 10 Wilson scripts that trace the Black experience in the U.S. over the entire past century. The plays have been produced, of course, on Broadway and in regional theaters across the country. And now is your time to see it here in Omaha. And Paul, you had mentioned some of the community members that actually be helping bring this to life. There's some heads in this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't remember who they are though. I just been seeing it. I've been seeing it all over the place. I don't know some of these actors. I'm getting to know some of the people in the theater community because of my experience at the Benson Theater.
Mm-hmm.
But they and actually there's been some really awesome stuff like my man Just Beeee did his turn. He's going singer to actor. And he's been doing some stuff, man, that is pretty awesome. But I will definitely have the information for you. To the rundown of everybody that's going to be in it, because there is some people in our community here that people know, and it's like making the rounds, man, on social media for real about everybody who's excited about this. Of course, the legendary Kathy Tyree has been posting about things about this thing too. It's pretty legendary. It's pretty legendary that you're getting August Wilson play at the Playhouse. So
it's a great conversation piece. And speaking of that, it won't just be the show. There will be some fanfare and some things surrounding this experience. There will actually be a pre-show panel on Friday featuring the director of Fences, Miss Denise Chapman.
I just read that.
Yeah.
I just read that Denise Chapman's going to direct. That's what's up, man.
I told you, man. Some heads. Again, assistant director Tammy Ray, also Wally Jamal, Khalid Long. And who is a freelance dramaturg who worked at the Playhouse on the show. So again, there will be a conversation with them. There will also be a post-show celebration after the performance. The panel discussion runs from 6 to 6:50. Again, that's on Friday. So if you're interested in checking that out, there will also be some workshops that you can check out if you are interested. Chop, the Playwrights Edition, which looks at a new ways to create plays through mashups and other forms of writing and literature, following the premise that genre informs genre. Workshop presenter Kim Louise has published 11 novels and novellas, and will be leading that workshop. There will also be a call and response August Wilson workshop, which will challenge participants to write something inspired by a piece of visual art in a time session and then explain the work to the class. And then there will also be an August Wilson Artist Corner, which will celebrate the works of August Wilson as a way to strengthen participant skills as actors, storytellers, and collaborators. Workshop leader Jamal will share personal stories about his time working with August Wilson. Jamal is actually the only actor in the world who has appeared in performances of all 11 works by Wilson. So you're getting, a pretty close proximity to the work of the man himself, August Wilson, and get a very, very good education. So definitely this is a celebration in Black art, man. Black playwright August Wilson is a legend. So if you're interested in art, interested in theater and writing, check this out. This might be for you.
It's going on right now. It actually started January 20th. It's going to go until February 12th. So start looking at some of those dates. Get your tickets now. I also like the fact that they've been working with other organizations in town, like Union for Contemporary Art, Metropolitan Community College, Great Plains Theater Commons. So there's some Black organizations there that they're working with to get this handle, get this going as well. And the fact that Denise Chapman is going to be directing, I'm just How did I miss that one?
Man.
So yeah, this is gonna be awesome, and I'm quite sure I know some of these other actors that are gonna be in here. I just got to do the research on it, but definitely check it out. As a matter of fact, I'll put it out there again for chat chimers. If there's a time that you guys want to try to coordinate to go, I know that Carolyn Jackson tried to coordinate a time for another trip like that. Didn't quite come all the way through, but I tell you what, let's keep on trying until we can get it going. I'd love to have the chat chimers kind of be out and say, hey, we're all coming as a group together in force and supporting these things and checking them out. So definitely check out Fences, August Wilson, January 20th through February 12th. It's going to be on the main stage at the Playhouse. They ain't putting it on the side stage. They ain't putting it in the back room. This is going to be on the main stage.
The big one.
The big one. The big one. Check it out. August Wilson's Fences, directed by Denise Chapman, our very own. Can't wait to go check it out. Let's try to organize something.
For sure. Also, before we get out of here, we have some good news from our Native brothers and sisters. Big shout out to whoever dropped us into the Friends of First Sky page. Chat chimers doing what they do, which is why we call you our co-host. We appreciate you, and we definitely appreciate the brothers and sisters out in the Ogallala Lakota reservations who are making some moves, man, and helping the people with art. Again, as a couple of artists, we're all here for it. If you're not familiar with Whiteclay, Nebraska, again, a population of 8, which is best known for having 4 liquor stores that sells millions of cans of beer yearly. Again, you heard me right. 4 liquor stores selling millions.
Wait, what did you say the population of the place is?
8. That's what this Nebraska Public Media article says.
They all work at all the liquor stores.
Man.
Yeah, I remember that story. It was right on some border. It's like, they put it right there on purpose, man, right there so they can get that beer into the Native community.
Yeah. Again, Whiteclay. yes. The whole purpose of Whiteclay is to sell liquor to the reservation. Again, the brothers and sisters on South Dakota's Pine Ridge Reservation. To quote my man Lupe Fiasco, first off, peace to Pine Ridge. You know what I mean? On the reservation, alcohol is banned, but again, right down the street, you can go and get your fix, if you will, which has led to widespread alcoholism, poverty, unemployment, violence, and even death on the reservation. But again, we're here to bring the good news. They have responded to this by implementing art. Art is kind of making its way and changing the lives of the brothers and sisters of the Ogallala Lakota tribe. Again, Morrison, who is an artist, Nadine Morrison, is a quote master, if you will. She is making quotes, and this is a quote master. And now this is making its way onto the reservation. Actually, it was pretty rough back then. Again, Lily Larvie, who's an Ogallala Lakota woman, speaking of life on Pine Ridge, says a lot of bad stuff happening here all the time, and a lot of people died around here, again, due to some of the violence and the alcoholism. But some of the creators says what we're trying to do is help Lakota artists and crafters who have natural abilities, or they've been taught by their grandma or whatever how to make things with beadwork or leather work. They really have these skills, but they need resources. They need basic tools and Dremels or quilt machines or sewing machines and things like that. And about 10 artists, mostly living near around the Pine Ridge area, work or sell to each other each week. They pay small fees for space and sales. The nonprofit operation is mostly supported by donations. They hope to grow the number of makers, offer more classes, and build an outdoor area. But again, they're here for the long run. It says we're in it for the long haul. We don't expect to set the world on fire this year or next or whenever, but one artist and crafter at a time, one household at a time. So again, definitely building this thing brick by brick. But I'm a full believer in the ability of art to change one's life and give you something else to do, man.
Yeah. It is what it is. That's what's happening. We'll leave it with that. We appreciate everybody that's joined in on this day. That woman in the chat on YouTube says, I'll be sharing a survey in collaboration with WHO, World Health Organization, that is Nebraska wide, asking about family trauma and child development. I hope caregivers to 0 to 5 years old will respond.
Nice.
We'll definitely push that out for you as well. I appreciate you keeping on with the good work, even with everything that you got going on. So we really appreciate that as well. Let us know how you're doing.
Let's catch up and talk about it. Here's that article about White Claw if you want to check that out for sure. Von Chapman says that's a lot of firewater. You ain't lying,
man.
One hap I did want to let you guys know about that's coming up here is the reveal party on Friday, January 27th. So that's coming up at the end of the week, Friday. It's a good time to go come check out the Benson Theater for free. Just come on in, check it out, man. We'll have a drink or two, and you can walk around, check the place out, and hear about what we got going on for the next year over here. The reveal party is going to be happening at the theater on the 27th from 6 to 8. Definitely come and check it out and talk to some folks. Talk to us there about how it is you can use the space. I mean, the space is really for us. It's a space that you can rent for your events, and the rental fees are very, very small for such a big, beautiful place with state of the art sound and lights and full bar and everything else. So definitely come check it out. It's a good time to come check it out if you have ideas about what you want to do there. And just come on through 6 to 8. We'll have a little cocktail and hang out and talk about some things. So really appreciate everybody who has already told me they were going to come to that. Come on through. And once again, don't forget later on this week, we don't know if it's going to be Wednesday or Friday yet, but we've been talking to these two brothers and sisters right here who have purchased the old Native Omaha building. And we can talk to them about what they're planning on doing with that and how they want to get the community involved with it as well. So stay tuned. There'll be some special guests coming up. And then, of course, don't forget, we'll be politicking with P on Wednesday. We'll be seeing what's good in the hood on Wednesday with Kimber Snipes. And we'll also be talking to the brothers senators of the legislative report happening on Friday now here on First Sky Omaha as well. And we also will have special guest Brianna Full coming on Wednesday as well to give us another report, a breakdown about what's going on with the towers and a few other things that she's been keeping her eye on as well. So shout out to Brianna Full for doing the work, and can't wait to talk to you, have a little conversation with you on Wednesday for sure. Thank you so much. Keaton Zykel says the late Frank Lemire succeeded in shutting down the liquor stores in 2017. That's what's up. A little more insight on that. So appreciate that very much. We'll be talking soon as well. Stacey Jean says, great show. Appreciate it. That woman says, thank you. So happy to be able to enjoy the entire show. Wishing everyone a safe and joyful week. Drink water, check your titties, and be good to yourselves. Always great advice. Thank you so much. Pop says, most excellent show. See you Wednesday when I'm sure you'll do it again. Love to the First Sky fam. Appreciate you, Pops.
Love.
On the family around here. I love it. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, of course, a big shout out to Sara Gentzler for stopping through and speaking with us, giving us some perspective. It was nice meeting her and speaking with her, and looking forward to, some watch catting and seeing what comes out of that. So yeah, definitely appreciate that, and appreciate all of you, all the first time listeners, last time listeners. Shout out to Mr. Stewart. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we see you more. And we appreciate everybody. We love you. We thank you. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Again, we got a lot of things in the works. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep progressing. Let's keep growing together. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Come on through. Conversation rules the nation. And without further ado, Paul B. Take it away.
Right on. Alice B60 says, appreciate you both. Appreciate your contributions today as well. Thank you very much. We want to give a shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. We want to give thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And thanks to you, the chat chimers, for allowing us to speak with you and being our co-hosts. We really appreciate that very much. Marianne Williams says, have a great day, all. You too have a great day. Really appreciate everybody who's joined us. Also, our 630 crew, everybody that's listening to us on the digital channel as well. You can always go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the listen button, and there is a digital radio station there, 24 hours, 7 days a week, a celebration of Black music of all kinds. Definitely check that out. And if you don't happen to be able to watch the show on Facebook and YouTube on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can tune in to that channel as well. If you have Amazon Alexa, you can tell Alexa to play First Sky Omaha Radio, and you will now be getting down with us. So I really appreciate everybody that's done that. Please, those of you that have donated as well, the reoccurring members of the channel that keep this thing alive, can't tell you how much we appreciate you, how much we are trying to build these things with this community with you. You're the reason for all of these things. So we really appreciate that very much. If you have not become a reoccurring member or sponsor of the channel, please consider doing so. Go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button, and there'll be some options there for you to become a recurring member. So thank you very much for that. Stay tuned for all the changes that we got coming on. New website that we're going to have a little party on. We're trying to reach 200 viewers and followers on YouTube. So tell a friend, and hit that like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And we will definitely catch you on Wednesday. Until then, be good to yourselves. Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the Red